Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Sugata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisa na saman good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtot, may papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisa na saman ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, sa Z Radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tune in sa radio. All day, all night, diri lang sa Z Radio. Isang ugas sa pakapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang dikiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Hilyan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang nasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayanin kabrigada. Lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paaral ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paalan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
Kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan.
mananatiling magkasangga.
Langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka brigada. Lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
Nagasilya gikan sa Bulawanong probinsya sa Davao de Oro. Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw.
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong Kuyaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z-Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw. Siguradong kuyaw.
Z-Radio 88.5.
Today's reflection. Jeremiah chapter 20 verse 9. But if I say, I will not mention his word or speak anymore in his name, his word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. The word of the Lord is a consuming fire. Indeed, it is the only true light that we have during our dark nights of despair. It is our only defense against the enemy's lies when he whispers. The only thing that will bring us out of our darkness is faith, and faith comes by hearing God's word. We simply have to cling to the word that has been implanted in us. The Lord has promised, I will not let you go down. Therefore, you have no reason to despair. There is no cause for quitting. Rest in my word. Don't fret, God's fire still burns in you. Even if you can't see it, you are to pour onto that fire the fuel of faith. You do this by trusting the Lord. When you do, you will see all your doubts and lusts consumed. Be greatly blessed.
May bulawang may paglubag. sa panag-iusa. Sabi mo ako'y mapeya at sa pagtinabang may kalangluan. Davao de Oro, bahandi mo nagasigla, di ka sa bubuhat. Davao de Oro, tuburan sa paglao. Sa Davao ay iyong mahuswagon. Ang kaanyag mo makabibihan, talag sa undas sa kahitasan. Kabukiran sa lumaki alimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. Davao de Oro, yutang saan, may bulawang may pagluban. Yuta mong nagmadagayaon, mga anak mong mahigugmaon. Kipalingon sa bayanihan, iumol sa panag-iusa. Sa timumang may mapeya at sa pagtinabang may kalangluan. Davao de Oro, kanimong nagamitan among kabulahanan. Davao de Oro, mapulawanong paraiso. Sa nag-iusang Davaoenyo, ang kaanyang makabibihan, talag sa ondas sa kahitasan. Kabukiran sa lumaki alimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. Davao de Oro, kanimong nagabitan among kabulahanan. Davao de Oro, mapulawanong paraiso. Sa nag-iusang Davaoenyo, Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan, buhig bulawan. Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan, buhig
Nagasipya gikan sa Bulawanong probinsya sa Davao de Oro. Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw,
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong Kuyaw,
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z-Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw. Siguradong kuyaw.
Z Radio 88.5.
Madayaw Davao de Oro, good morning! Usa na pod ka mahinungdanong adlaw ang ato ang pag-aubanan dinhi sa ato ang programang Radyo Z-Eskwela, Siguradong Masaya. Kita nagasibya all the way dinhi sa ato ang sibiyahan ng Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw. Good morning, good morning, good morning mga kazi! Kamusta ba ang ato ang mga kinabuhi dinha? Nang hinaot kami nga anaa mo sa luwas nga kahimtang ug himsog nga panlawas sa atong pagpadayon sa pag-atubang niining daghan kaayong mga hagit sa atong kinabuhi ug sa ato ang mga health of course. And again, we would like to welcome you to this brand new episode of our Radyo Z-Eskwela program nga gihatod kaninyo sa Department of Education, Division of Davao de Oro. Of course, mapadayunon gihapon natong ihatod kaninyo ang ato ang mga nag-unang lesson presentations nga gi-prepare gayod sa ato ang mga highly esteemed na mga content presenters, our teachers in the field para mahatod gyud kaninyo ang mga maayong pagtulunan ilabi na kay murag pila na lang no ka mga bulan murag or pila na lang ka mga simana na lang siguro ang ato ang ginaihap karon. Mahuman na nato kining ato ang school year 2020 to 2021. And we do hope nga mapadayunon gihapon ta nga driven and enthusiastic hantod nga mahuman gyud nato kining tuiga, and we are very much hopeful no napud sa mga preparasyon nga ato ang gibuhat sa kasamtangan para sa school year 2021 to 2022. Of course, mabati gihapon ta ninyo sa inyong mga radyo, 88.5 on your radio dial, o sa ato ang mga nagkadaiyang mga social media platforms. We are live at Z-Radio 88.5 Facebook page, DepEd Tayo Division of Davao de Oro Facebook page, Radyo Z-Eskwela DepEd Davao de Oro, and through our YouTube channel at Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Pwede po kaayon ninyong gamiton ang ato ang mga comment boxes para sa inyong mga pangutana o mga pagtimbaya later on atuan ng hatagan og panahon, no? And of course, pwede po kayo na ninyong isend ang inyong mga pangutana pinaagi sa ato ang mobile phone number at number 0953-211-3492. Again, 0953-211-3492 para huyan sa inyong mga request, mga pangutana and greetings later on. Of course, ato ang gitimbaya, ato ang mga maabtikon nga division leaders gipanguluhan sa atong schools division superintendent, Ma'am Eufemia Gamutin, maayong pagpaminaw. Of course, ato ang gitimbaya ang ato ang assistant schools division superintendent, Dr. Romel Handayan. Hello sa ato ang mga education program supervisors, and of course, ang ato ang duha ka chief, no? Dr. Ruben Riponte for our SGOD and our OIC CID chief, and at the same time, our program director. Hello to Dr. Arlene Lim, maayong pagpaminaw. And ato alang pong itimbaya, of course, ang ato ang EPS in charge for today's episode. We have our EPS in Araling Panlipunan, Dr. Grace Pontillas, and our education program supervisor for TLE, we have Ma'am Noemi Canales. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan. Sa ato ang mga magtutudlo, ginikanan og mga estudyante nga anaa karon sa ilang mga tagsatag sa kapanimalay ug mga nagkadaiyang tulunghaan, uban ni mininyo hantod alas 2 sa hapon para sa ato ang programang Radyo Z-Eskwela. And we wish you all the best, no? Ang daghang tag makutlo dinhi sa ato ang programa karong adlaw. That is why atuan ang sugdan kining ato ang episode for today. We are expected to give you our lesson presentations for discipline and ideas in social sciences for grade 11. We also, after that one, we are going to give you our lesson presentation for Philippine politics and governance. That is for grade 12. Then, at 12 o'clock in noontime, ato ang ihatod kaninyo ang ato ang leksyon for TLA grade 9, and that will be followed by TLE grade 10. Unya taod-taod no, makauban pod nato si Teacher Donna and Teacher JL para ipadayon ang ato ang programa alas 12 hantod alas 2 sa hapon. Alright, atuan ang sugdan kining ato ang leksyon for today. First off, we got here our lesson presentation for grade 11, Discipline and Ideas in Social Sciences. Our topic is entitled Distinction between Social Science, Natural Science, and Humanities. This will be presented to us by our content presenter all the way from Tambungon National High School. We got here Sir Brigoli Hiromo. And of course, ato ang gitimbaya, tanan nato mga magtutudlo from Tambungon National High School. Kaya naman, let us all get ready tungod kay ato ang sugdan kining ato ang leksyon for today. Be ready, Z-learners, to discover new learning and skills as our vibrant social studies and TLE teachers discuss new topics. My name is Teacher Given. Tara na magklase na ta.
Welcome to another segment of the Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. For Quarter 1, the human person in their environment. In the previous chapter, we reflected the meaning of what it means to be an embodied spirit, as the body as limitation and transcendence. Today, we will explore different understanding and relationship with the environment. As physical science, philosophy also seeks to explore the relationship between humanity and the environment. Environmental philosophy or environmental ethics deals on the studies of moral relationship of human beings with the environment and its non-human contexts. Environment is the sum total of all surroundings of living organisms, including natural forces and other living things, which provide condition, development, and growth, as well as of danger and damage. Scientists also monitor the changes in our environment. Their studies show that our world is changing, not for the better, but for the worse. And humanity is responsible of this. But why are these things happening in the world? How do our actions lead to negative effects in the environment? To quote the English poet John Donne, "No man is an island. Entire of itself, every man is a piece of continent, a part of the main." This means as a human persons, we interact not only with our fellow human beings, but also with the other living and non-living elements in our environment. Humankind is part of the world, and we significantly affect our environment in the same way what changes in our environment affect us. A human person is a living being that contains a real and existing to direct its own development toward fulfillment through perfect, unconditional, infinite love, goodness, beauty, and unity, and will do so if all the proper conditions are met. In our lesson, there are two learning competencies that will be achieved. It is based on most essential learning competency. 4.1. Notice things that are not in their proper place and organize them in an aesthetic way. 4.2. Show that care for the environment contributes to health, well-being, and sustainable development.
This time, I am inviting you to listen to the song titled Masdan ang Kapaligiran by Lolita Carbon of Asing.
Wala ka bang napapansin sa iyong mga kapaligiran? Kay dumi na ng hangin, pati na ang mga ilog natin.
Hindi nga masama ang tagunlat at malayo-layo na rin ang ating narating. Ngunit masdan mo ang tubig sa dagat, dati kulay asul, ngayon'y naging itim. Ang mga duming ating ikinalat sa hangin, sa langit, huwag na nating paabutin. Upang kung tayo'y pumanaw man sariwang hangin, sa langit natin matitikman. Mayroon lang akong hinihiling, sa aking pagpanaw sana ay tag-ulan. Gitara ko ay aking dadalhin, upang sa ulan na lang tayo magkantahan. Ang mga bata ngayon lang isinilang, may hangin pa kayang matitikman. May mga puno pa kaya silang aakyatin, may mga ilog pa kayang lalamuyan.
Bakit di natin pag-isipan ang nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran?
Hindi nga masama ang pagunlad kung hindi nakakasira ng kalikasan. Darating ang panahon, mga ibong dala ay wala nang madadapuan. Masdan mo ang mga punong dati ay kay tatag, ngayon'y namamatay dahil sa ating kalukuhan. Lahat ng bagay na narito sa lupa, biyayang galing sa Diyos kahit nung ika'y wala pa. Ingatan natin at huwag nang sirain pa, pagkat pag kanyang linawi tayo'y mawawala na.
Mayroon lang akong hinihiling, sa aking pagpanaw sana ay tagulan. Gitara ko ay aking dadalhin, upang sa ulap na lang tayo magkantahan.
After listening to the song, Masdan ang Kapaligiran, here are the following guide questions for your reflection. 1. How did the song regard the environment? 2. How did the song see the human person in the environment? 3. What is the tone of the song? 4. Which lyrics serve as most meaningful to you, and why it is meaningful? Those are the questions for your personal reflection. Hoping that your reflection is a fruitful one. After this, we will be back to continue our lesson for today. Thank you.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
We are back. Lesson 4. The human person in the environment. What is an environment? There are many different definitions and perceptions as to what an environment is. But the simplest is the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates, and the natural world as a whole, or in particular, geographical area, especially as affected by human activity. How humans impact the environment? Well, like all living things, human beings are an integral part of the environment. And because of this, they are subjected to the control and restraints that the environment implies. Change is a natural phenomenon that occurs within the environment and is an essential part of it. This is because the environment has been created in such a manner that it can under normal circumstances. The environment is adequately dynamic enough to accommodate these changes. Therefore, there are some environments that experiences continual change and adjustments. This is referred to as a dynamic equilibrium. Philosophers believe that the person has a special relationship with nature. And like other organisms that are merely part of ecosystems and only exist to perform certain biological roles, the person has the ability to change the environment to suit his or her purposes. The early history of humankind shows that wherever humans came together to form communities, the landscape and the environment changed. Forests gave way to farmlands. Mountains were mined for minerals and metals, and rivers and lakes were transformed to yield more resources for mankind. And this pattern continues to this day. It is an orderly environment where human persons thrive best. This order can give rise to several problems and challenges for humankind. Humans are part of the environment. They live in it, from it, and with it. All these interactions shape our natural world. The natural disasters. This is most evident after any natural disaster, such as earthquake, typhoon, volcanic eruption, landslide. And these disasters result in great damage to property, injuries, and even loss of lives. Normal activities are disrupted in both cities and in rural communities. As a rational being, the person is not only capable of transforming the world, but also of understanding the laws which govern nature. It can be said that the world is a text which the person can read and understand in order to live a better life. Because of this ability to access nature, the role of the person in relation to it can take on different forms. There is what we call man-made disasters. This level of disaster is uniquely done by human beings, and there are many examples we can present to you. One is train accident. Second is aviation incident. We have also the shipwreck. Another one is traffic pollution. We also have structural collapse, bridge collapse, burning forest, and factory pollution. A person may also view this environment as something that envelopes and surrounds him or her, and thus they have a special and unique relationship with it. The raw state of the environment can be likened to a blank canvas that needs to be painted on. Persons have the unique ability of cultivating nature, either positive or in a negative way. This means that persons can help the environment, especially if human beings decided to become a greater contributor for good and for what is originally what Earth made of. It is always a decision of every human being.
Let us proceed to environmental ethics and environmental philosophy. These two have a relationship between humanity and the environment. The environmental philosophy or environmental ethics is the discipline in philosophy that studies the moral relationship of human being with the environment and its non-human context. Environmental philosophers tackle issues such as humanity's role in the nature world and the interaction between nature and human activities, wherein the humanities has a great responsibility to environmental challenges. What is environmental ethics? It is a new sub-discipline of philosophy. It is the moral relationship of human beings to the value and moral status of the environment and its non-human content. This also caters on the study of the ethical basis of environment, of discussion on the ethical basis of environmental protection. This too has a great significant discipline in the philosophy that studies the moral relationship with the environment and its non-human context. Why need to study environmental ethics? To overcome the following questions. On what are the environment damage produced by the present generation and what acts must be given up to slow such damage? What is the world made of? How did the world come into being? And how can we explain the process of change? These were the philosophical questions already brought up approximately 600 before Christ's era, wherein the Western Ionian seaport. What is the world made of? How did the world come into being? And how can we explain the process of change? These are philosophical questions brought out approximately 600 before Christ's era in the Western Ionian seaport town of Miletus across the Aegean Sea from Athens, Greece. The speculation of the pre-Socratic philosophers represent a paradigm shift, a change from mythical explanation of the origins of the cosmos to a more rational explanation. Eastern sages proved nature's depths intuitively through the eyes of spiritual sages, which Greek thinkers viewed nature through cognitive and scientific eyes. These thinkers were looking for the underlying laws of nature. Because they wanted to understand and process of nature by studying nature itself, not by listening to the stories about the gods.
According to Ping, one of the contemporary philosophers, in year 2010, he presented in his philosophical study the two frameworks where humans can be related. The two frameworks under the anthropocentric model.
Let's move to another approach or model, the ecocentric model. In this model, it is the ecological or relational integrity of the humans that provides meaning of morals and values, and it is nature-centered. Unlike the anthro, it is human-centered. In this model, it is devoted to preserve the totality of the Earth's biodiversity and the functions of its life and supporting system. Moreover, this model places great value on ecosystem and biological communities, and that the human being have significant role as stewards or guardian of nature, and that it centers on the balance of order in nature that will bring about stability and beauty idea promotion. Another input on ecocentric model. It places emphasis on ecological, relational integrity of humans in providing meaning, moral of our values, and it is the nature-centered. On the other hand, this model believes that humans are not the only significant species on the planet, and that all organisms have inherent value and should be protected. This view drives the activities of human organizations that advocate the ethical treatment of animals. In fact, our government has passed laws that recognize the rights of animals to be treated kindly, such as Republic Act 8485, known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. This ecocentrism places great value on ecosystem and biological communities, such as the nature, wild, holism, body, relational, earth and wisdom, and ecology over against humans. This view also promotes the idea that order and balance in nature brings about stability and beauty. Several philosophical views on the environment, such as deep ecology and the Gaia hypothesis, emphasizes the important role of the interaction between the living and non-living components of the environment. The influence of humanity in the environment can be best understood if we consider the individual person as a dynamic source of change. Within his or her particular environment, we benefit greatly from a clean and orderly environment. It contributes to a safety, well-being, and health, while dirty and disorderly surroundings result in disease or accidents. Environmental aesthetic is one of the philosophical views that believes maintaining order in the environment will contribute to the well-being of the people and other organisms living in it. And so, let us appreciate the natural beauty that brings about with a concern for our environment and helps people relate more effectively with nature. Let's pause for a break and we will return after a few minutes.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
We are back! Let's proceed to wrap up. In this lesson, students learned that human activities have a significant impact on the environment. Current scientific evidences proves that human activities over the centuries have resulted in great changes in climate patterns throughout the world. Climate change and its related effects are among the most important environmental issues we face today. It is the responsibility of the philosophers to believe that persons have special relationship with nature because of their rationality. They are not only part of nature, but they can also shape, transform, and cultivate it. However, this also means that they are also capable of inflicting the most harm on it. Its major philosophical view regarding the person's relationship with the nature includes the two famous model approaches of the environment. These are anthropocentrism and ecocentrism. Anthropocentrism considers humans the most significant species on the planet and that nature provides humankind with the means of survival and development. Wherein ecocentrism believes that human being places a great value on ecosystem as a biological communities, and that the human being have significant role as stewards or guardian of nature. These two approaches plays a significant role in the responsibility of individual to the environmentalism aspect. And sustainability of development is a concept that advocates the wise and efficient use of natural resources. It emphasizes that human activities must not unduly harm the environment and that natural resources must be used wisely and the environment must be preserved for the next generation. Kindly ponder these important details, that a human person is a living being that contains a real and existing to direct its own development towards fulfillment through perfect, unconditional, and infinite truth, love, goodness, beauty, and unity, and will do so if all the proper conditions are met. A human person as a reflection is a living being that contains a real and existing responsibility to direct its own development towards fulfillment through perfect, unconditional, and infinite responsibility. For your assessment, in a one sheet of paper, identify the common elements among the three different approaches, frameworks to understand the environment. Number 2, evaluate which among the three is most helpful today in responding to your problem in the environment. Students, are you done? Very good. Alright, students, that ends our lesson this morning. It's been a great privilege serving you all, my dear grade 12 students. This is Ma'am Angelita Aris leaving a message on air that humans is the most significant species on the planet and that nature provides humankind with the means to survive and develop. In fact, it's the responsibility of all humans to sustain and live the concept that advocates the wise and efficient use of natural resources.
This is also Sir Briggs, Polido Hiromo, living this quotation. Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. Remember, we are all stewards. We have the responsibility and accountability. We care the universe, we care the Mother Earth, we care the natural environment, we care the whole humanity. Thank you and have a nice day.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin, Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. OIC Curriculum Implementation Division Chief, Karina S. Frasco. School Governance and Operations Division Chief, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Members: Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Arlene B. Lim, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Noemi P. Canales, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Virgilito C. Pabrices, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangi, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Dalan S. Milabar, Medard T. Ampit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Productions and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judyland D. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banias. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istanyol, Richard H. Arellano, Glee L. S. Blanco, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo Gutierrez Jr., and Jade Karen Arais.
Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw.
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z-Radio.
This is Z-Radio 88.5.
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw. Siguradong kuyaw.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang dikiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Dinalian tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang nagkasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ang ikayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paalan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at yanig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
Kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan.
mananatiling magkasangga.
Langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhay. Eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
Z Radio 88.5.
Check our time, it's 10:59 in the morning, and that time check is being brought to us by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated and being brought to you by Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station. Mga kaigsuunan, atuan ang nahatod kaninyo ang atuang unang leksyon nga gihatod kanato sa atuang mga very matawag natong highly esteemed na mga teachers all the way from Pantukan District. Maayong pagpaminaw sa tanan natong mga suking tigpaminaw, mga magtutudlo all the way from Pantukan, Pantukan North and Pantukan South. Hello sa ato ang mga teachers din ha sa Pantukan National High School and Tambungon National High School. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan and daghan kaayong salamat sa inyong pagpalanog-lanog ni ining atong programa. Of course, ato apong pasalamatan karon mga kaigsuunan, kining ato ang mga program sponsors nga ning tabang gayud kanato nga mas mapalambo pa nato kining ato ang programa. Hello and thank you very much to GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, Weing Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie, and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, Apex Mining Company Incorporated, Pahati Construction, Tingog Party List, and our never-ending thanks goes out sa ato ang Congressman Manuel Wycorat Zamora and our Vice Governor Maria Carmen Zamora sa ilahang pagpadayon kanato ni ining ilang sibiyahanan para gyud nga magpadayon ang pagtuon sa ato ang mga kabataan panahoning pandemya. Ug sa ako nang gikaingon ganina mga kaigsuunan, hapit na natong matapos ang atong school year 2020 to 2021. Murag parang kailan lang no, murag nangapa pata kung unsaon nato pag pahimutang ang tanan. Ilabi na kay we are restricted to do or to host face-to-face learning sa ato ang mga tagsa-tag sa katulunghaan. And right now, murag, it's very fulfilling to note nga approaching na gyud ta sa ato ang kumbaga approaching na ta nga mahuman ang ato ang school year 2020 to 2021. And I believe right now ang ato ang mga eskwelahan is naghinay-hinay na pud og pagpangandam para na pud sa sunod nga school year 2021 to 2022. Anindot kaayo no kay at naa na tay glimpse kung unsa ang ilahang mga pagpangandam aron nga mas mapadayon pa o mas strengthen pa ang ato ang mga mechanisms and mga approaches nga mas mapahaom sa panginahanglan sa ato ang mga estudyante panahon sa bag-ong normal. And pinaagi ni ana no mas mahatagan nato og hope or paglaom ang ato ang mga estudyante nga mopadayon gyud gihapon sa ilahang pagskwela bisan pa man niining mga naga kahitabo sa atong palibot no. And rest assured nga ang ato ang Department of Education kauban ang ato ang mga magtutudlo nga very vibrant and active ato ag yung ihatod kaninyo og ato ang masiguro gyud nga nagihapon gyud pagtulunan panahon sa pandemya. Oras nato it's 11:02. Of course, ato ang gitimbaya tanan nato mga suking tigpaminaw nga naminaw karon all the way from Compostela District, East and West District. Ato ang itimbaya ang Compostela Central Elementary School and Compostela National High School. Hello also sa ato ang mga kaubanan dinha sa una no sa Consuelo M. Valderrama National High School. Gipanguluhan sa ato ang head teacher dinha nga si Ma'am Rosie Villamor. Hello sa ato ang mga kaubanan usab sa Monte Vista National High School main campus. Hello sa ato ang school principal for Dr. Jernaldine O. Perez, Ma'am Marites Villa Corteza, or school principal for the senior high school. Og of course ang ato ang head teacher Sir Genev Molianeda Miguel. Usab sa ato ang mga kaubana no nga naa karon sa mga eskwelahan nga nahimutang sa mga far-flung areas. Abot gyud kaayo nato ang mga estudyante dinhang dapita. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan og sa atoan ang ginabalik-balik ato ang ampingan ang ato ang mga kaugalingon para mas mahilayo kita sa kining virus nga ginatawag. Oras na to, it's 11:04 and right now atoan ang isunod sa paghatod kaninyo ang ato ang ikaduha nga leksyon para kini sa grade 12. This will be presented to us by our content presenters, Ma'am Emmeline Katubig, Teacher 2 of Pantukan National High School, together with Ma'am Christian Jane P. Batukan, Teacher 2, also from Pantukan National High School, and we will be discussing about the course Philippine Politics and Governance for Grade 12, the nature, forms, and consequences of power. Ladies and gentlemen, sa ato mga grade 12 learners o bani ko ninyo, my name is Teacher Given og tara na magklase na ta.
Hello! Morning to all subscribers of Radyo Z-Eskwela. Alright, this is again the subject Philippine Politics and Governance, a social science specialized subject for grade 12 learners. Welcome to our second learning episode. Once again, this is your course presenter, Ma'am Emmeline Tangal Katubig, and my brilliant partner, the course content developer, Ma'am Christian Jane Punsalan Batukan. Yes, you are right. It's about power. Our lesson is entitled The Nature, Forms, and Consequences of Power. Our lesson is anchored on the most essential learning competency, analyze the nature, dimensions, types, and consequences of power. Learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to define power and identify and explain the nature, dimension, types, and consequences of power. Power is one of the central concepts and issues in political science. Questions like who wields power, how it is shared, checked, or monopolized, how can power be controlled, and what are its consequences are some of the interesting questions about the topic. You may not know it, but every day you are affected by the play of power in its political sense. You and even others also wield powers on other people, things, or even situations. At this point, let us define power in the context of political science. As cited from the work of Maria Perpetua Arcilla Serapio on Philippine Politics and Governance, in social science and politics, power is the ability to influence or control the behavior of people. The term authority is often used for power perceived as legitimate by the social structure. Power can be seen as evil or unjust, but the exercise of power is accepted as endemic to humans as social beings. Now, who are those we consider persons in authority who wield legitimate power? Can you give examples? Yes, those of our government officials, members of the Philippine National Police, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, teachers, medical personnel, religious authorities, chairman, presidents, or CEOs of various companies, even your parents, and many more. Again, authority is the wield of legitimate power. Legitimate power refers to the power that is inherent in the position and authority of an individual within an organization. Again, for example, family is the smallest unit of society. Parents are considered persons in authority. Children must honor and obey their parents. On the other hand, coercion is the use of power that involves force or the threat of force. One classic example is Adolf Hitler, a German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 to 1945. Adolf Hitler rose to power as the leader of the Nazi Party, becoming Chancellor and then assumed the title of Führer. During his dictatorship, he initiated World War II in Europe, first by invading Poland and the rest of the continent. He was central to the perpetration of the Holocaust, the genocide of about 6 million Jews and millions of other victims. Next is the nature of power. The nature of power is the ability to get what you want as well as the ability to change the future. There are 4 types of power according to the study of Barney and Duval. These 4 types are also called the taxonomy of power. One is compulsory power. Compulsory power is defined as the direct control of one actor of the conditions and actions of others. Master and slave is the classic example among others. When we say compulsory, the exercise of power is beyond question. In the master-slave relationship, the master is perceived as superior and powerful. The slave, on the other hand, is compelled to obey or follow the master. The other taxonomy of power or type of power is institutional power. Institutional power exists in actors in direct control over the conditions of action of the socially distant others. One example is the use of rules or the law to impose order. Now, in the given illustration here, this is the enactment of Bayanihan to Heal as One Act or RA number 11469 in 2020 or also known as Bayanihan Act. The law grants the President additional authority to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. In addition to the President, the other actors involved are the law enforcers, who also help establish the safety and order of the people. Now, the other type or taxonomy of power is structural power. Structural power looks at the position and the rules of various actors in relation to each other. A good example is a coach to a player. Now, structural power is the power to decide how things shall be done, the power to shape frameworks, of which, in the given example or illustration here, it shows how the coach relates to his player. The coach knows the game plan and knows and decides how to play the game in order to win. His players, on the other hand, must be willing to be coached or be mentored. Therefore, must follow the game plan. And so, more of the types of power as well as taxonomy of power. Let's have a short break. We will be right back after this commercial.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Maze Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back. Previously, you have learned types of power, namely compulsory power, institutional power, structural power. Now let me present to you the other type. Productive power. Productive power works through diffuse constitutive relations to produce the situated social capacities of actors. It constitutes actors, their interests, capacities, and self-understanding through indirect and network discourse. Students, when we say discourse, it means speak or write authoritatively about a certain topic or issues. Now, in the context of productive power, it concerns the social discourses through which meaning is produced, fixed, live, experience, and transform. These discourses produce social identities and capacities for all subjects. For example, classificatory categories like being called civilized, Western, and democratic. The use of these words create differences in social capacities because of the meanings associated with them. Now, the attribute of being called civilized implies one's capacities of an advanced stage of social and cultural development, therefore, highly perceived as powerful and authoritative. Consequently, civilized and Western countries are often associated, and so their leaders and even the people of the Western countries are often perceived as powerful and more advanced. Now this time, let me present to you the dimension of power. Channels. It means the way in which power is enacted. They can perhaps more readily be remembered as head, hands, and heart. The other dimension of power is physical power, derived from material or physical advantage. Individually, it can come from strength or skill, having weapons and things. In the given example here, the power of a wrestler, physically able and strong, are perceived powerful individuals. It can also come from having weapons, which can be the ultimate power of groups and government. Other dimension of power is informational power, derived from knowledge. Power often comes from the control of access to information. There are examples of those who possess informational power, such as the scientists, scholars, and even the fear of the hacktivists known as Anonymous. Anonymous is a decentralized international activist widely known for cyber attacks. Anyone who possesses distinct powerful knowledge, therefore, knows much information and have always the advantage to manipulate, control, and influence others. Next, the other dimension of power is emotional power, the social power of affect, using emotion to get what you want. Indeed, emotion is power. You must know or master the leverage of the power of emotion because you can have or get what you want or control others. Know what are those emotional power words, such as pick a word with more emotional punch. For example, you say these words, last chance, to someone. Of course, that striking words compel one to do better and exert more effort that will bring out the best in them. Also, when you say this always to a child, good boy, good girl, these words create a powerful impact to them. Shift word choice, therefore, in the favor of emotion. During political campaign, the power of emotion plays a vital role to win votes. And that is very important. Emotion is power. The other dimension of power is intent. It refers to the intent of the person using power, either in helping or hurting others. One feels great in extending kindness and service, especially extending help and assistance to save one from trouble or problems. In the given example here, you see a helpless, innocent child saved by authorities. Now, the power intent here is to help others. The child is saved from human trafficking. On the other hand, the use of power with intent to hurt others In the given illustration here, this happens in Europe, particularly in Hungary, wherein there are refugees or what we call migrants who forcibly wanted to take refuge in the country, but however, the police authorities forcibly drive them away at the border back to their homeland. Up next, the other dimension of power is called positive power, the power used for good. Now, in the example given here, the US government provides 3.5 million US dollars or equivalent to 170 million pesos to support the COVID-19 vaccines in the Philippines. Negative power is another dimension of power. It is defined as the use of power to directly harm other people. Now, students, in the given illustration here, this is the 9/11 terrorist attack. This happens when there was a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks headed by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda to the United States of America. This is the burning Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. This happened on the morning of September 11, 2001. Other dimension of power is called deliberateness. It is defined as the triggers which led to power being used. For example, the strict implementation of different types of community quarantine all over the country, like the rules and policies enhanced in the different types of quarantine. May it be an enhanced community quarantine or ECQ, to MECQ, and to the general community quarantine or GCQ. These are all results of deliberate use of power by authorities. Reactive power. Power is used in response to situations. For example, when natural calamities strike the country, it could be because of eruption of Taal volcano, strong earthquake, and even war in Marawi City. These circumstances have caused various government sectors or agencies to initiate actions and wield power in order to help and save the victims of calamities and disaster, like building temporary shelters and homes, distribution of relief goods, and other provisions of services. Proactive power is another dimension of power, defined as power used consciously and deliberately. Now, a good example here is that a certain Ana Patricia, a 26 years old resident of Purok Maginhawa in Quezon City, set up a shelf with groceries for those who have been jobless and hungry during this time of pandemic. Now, her effort sparked a nationwide trend we now call community pantry. So this is a simple and humble resident, yet she able to express the best example of what we call proactive power in this time of pandemic. Alright, up next, students, are the 5 bases of power according to social psychologists John R.P. French and Bertram Raven, classic work on the basis of power. 1 is legitimate power, also called positional power, the power of an individual because of the relative position and duties of the holder of the position within an organization. It also means the formal authority delegated to the holder of the position. Now, examples of this are our barangay officials, our municipal mayors, governors, and even our congressmen and higher government officials in terms of politics and governance. Now, the other basis of power is referent power, defined as the power or ability of individuals to attract others and build loyalty. It is based on charisma, interpersonal skills, nationalism, patriotism, and it is also used by advertisers. An example given here is Andres Bonifacio's referent power, able to attract loyal followers to his revolutionary movement, the Katipunan against the Spaniards. Expert power is another basis of power, wherein it is defined as an individual's power deriving from the skills or expertise of the person and the organization's needs for those skills and expertise. Accordingly, expert power is the perception that a certain person has an elevated level of knowledge or a specific skill not found in others in a certain organization. Today, in the face of pandemic, we need more health experts as well as scientists, especially in developing vaccines as well as finding cure to the COVID-19 virus. Countries who are able to develop vaccines, we perceive them powerful because of the expertise of their citizens, and that specifically the scientists. Reward power. It is defined as it depends on the ability of power wielder to confer valued material reward. It refers to the degree to which the individual can give others a rewards of some kind. Now, in reward power, one example is that a company's boss offers benefits such as time off, desired gifts, and others to his employees. However, it is ineffective if abused. Coercive power. It means the application of negative influences. It includes the ability to demote or to withhold other rewards. The desire for valued rewards or the fear of having them withheld ensures obedience of those under power. Now, this form of power builds resentment as well as resistance from people who experience it. Threats and punishment are common tools of coercion. Now, in the example here, it shows the ability of the company's manager, for example, to force an employee to follow an order by threatening the employee with punishment if the employee does not comply the order. Now, this lesson also aims to know what are the consequences of power. Power as a perception. People who use power cues and act powerfully and proactively tend to be perceived as powerful by others. Now, remember that there are some people become influential even though they don't overtly use powerful behavior. Meaning, if individuals experience a sense of power, they feel as if they can control or have control of the situations. Consequently, others look up to them and depend on leadership. According to the study of Lammers and Stapel, How Power Influences Moral Thinking, they posited that when individuals experience a sense of power, they feel a motivation to maintain that existing hierarchy. In general, compliance with policies and procedures will sustain that hierarchy. That is, many of the policies and procedures in the organizations are introduced, at least partly because the motive is to maintain authority. Thus, a sense of power coincides with a respect towards these rules and regulations. The other consequence of power is that power as a relational concept, meaning power exists in relationships. But the issue here is that how much relative power a person has in comparison to one's partner. Partners in close and satisfying relationships often influence each other at different times in various arenas. In the given illustration here, President Duterte and MNLF Chairman Norm Miswari displayed a cordial relationships. It was when President Duterte appointed him as the ambassador to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. In CNN Philippines, President Duterte said, "There are enemies you cannot kill because you need them," referring to Miswari, whose men were responsible of the Zamboanga City crisis way back in 2013. Alright, more of the consequences of power. We will be right back after this commercial.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, this time, let's continue our topic on the consequences of power. Power as a resource base. It means power usually represents a struggle over resources. The more scarce and valued resources are, the more intense and protracted are power struggles. Meaning, people have the most power when the resources they possess are hard to come by or are high in demand. A good example given here is our territorial disputes with China over the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is said to have abundant aquatic and fishery resources as well as natural gas fields. It has great potential to be one of the country's sources of natural gas and a cheaper electricity, which could ultimately address energy security concerns of our country. And so again, power usually represents a struggle over valued resources. On the other hand, according to Aristotle in his classic work, Politics, there are situations that power in the government is corrupted by personal and selfish goals of the individuals. These individuals pursue laws and intervene with social services to achieve personal rather than communal gains. This is true throughout the history of mankind, wherein various individuals in history, such as dictators, I'll give you an example. Pol Pot. Pol Pot is a Cambodian political leader, or also known as Khmer political leader, who led a totalitarian regime in Cambodia between 1975 to 1979. He's a good example who used power vested on him by the respective government to pursue personal ambitions over the welfare of his people. Now, his radical communist government forced the mass evacuations of cities, killed or displaced millions of people, and left a legacy of brutality and impoverishment. Another example is Adolf Hitler, one of the most well-known and reviled figures in history. As the leader of Nazi Germany, he orchestrated both World War II and the Holocaust, events that led to the deaths of at least 40 million people. Alright, students, in studying politics, we must be aware and accept the fact that power as a central concept is dynamic and has different forms depending on who is imposing power and how that power is expressed. Remember that power can corrupt an individual. Instead, it should be that the use of power must achieve a communal goal rather than a personal gains or ambitions. Now, this is of course ideal. Alright? Now, this time, students, Prepare answer sheet. Let's have these writing exercises. First, you're going to identify which dimension of power is being described here. Number your paper 1 to 5. Number 1, it is based on love, care, and concern. Number 2, the power to say no or to restrict access in some forms. Number 3, I know your weaknesses, that is why I will use it for leverage to trying to persuade you. Number 4, charisma and power of oratory. And number 5, owning a building or a machine. Alright, let's proceed to the next writing exercise. You answer this question. How will you use the different types of power to affect the behavior of other people? Cite a specific situation as an example. Here's the rubrics. 5 points for appropriate examples given, and another 5 points for sound and logical explanation. Good job, students! In conclusion of this topic, always bear in mind that knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. Also, the power you have is to be the best version of yourself you can be, so you can create a better world. Now, our guide and references in this learning. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to this program. Until next learning episode of the subject, Philippine Politics and Governance. Once again, this is your course presenter, Ma'am Emeline Tangal Katubig, and my brilliant course content developer, Ma'am Christian Jane Punsalan Batukan. Keep safe, everyone, and God bless us all.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolivar, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Davao de Oro. Kini ang siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Z
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Z Radio 88.5.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang bitiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Ginayan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang hanggang simula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka brigada, lahat ang ikawin gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paaral ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at hindi, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampiling natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka brigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
Magbayanihan na, magbayanihan na. Bayanihan, pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Tatag at tibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pabigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada eskwela, sa atin na buong barkada. Brigada eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada eskwela, salit na buong barkada. Brigada eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada eskwela na, sabay-sabayhan na.
Z Radio 88.5. Z Radio 88.5.
Oras nato, it's 11:42 in the morning. Og oras sa tudkan nato, of course, by Pahari Construction and Apex Mining Company Incorporated. My name is Teacher Given, mga kaigsuunan, og atoan nagyong nahuman ang atong ikaduha nga leksyon for today's episode. Of course, ato ang pasalamatan ang ato ang content presenter, Ma'am Emeline Katubig, Teacher 2 of Pantukan National High School, kauban ang atong Creative Resource Material Developer na si Ma'am Christian Jane P. Batukan
also from Pantuca National High School. Once again, ang atuag yung hugtanong pagtimbaya sa ato ang mga magtutudlo sa Pantuca National High School. Gipanguluhan sa ilahang principal dinha si Ma'am Ranalan, maayong pagpaminaw. And of course, daghan kayong salamat once again sa atong content presenter and creative resource material developer sa pag-prepare yun sa ato ang material for today. Daghan kaayo tag mga nakatuna ni adto, no? And if you wish nga mas ma-clarify pa ang ato ang lection for today, ayaw ka mo pagdumili sa pag-reach sa inyong mga teachers, sa inyong mga nagkadaiyang eskwelahan para mahatagan mo og mas lalumpang explanation nga adunay kalambigitan sa ato ang leksyon karong adlaw. Of course, ato apong pagtimbaya no sa ato ang mga public schools district supervisors and district coordinating principals nga katambayayong gyud nato sa paghatod ni ining atong programa ngadto sa ato ang mga estudyante. Daghan kaayong salamat kaninyong tanan, and of course, dili nato kawangon pod ang panahon sa pagpasalamat sa ato ang mga magtutudlo nga anaa karon sa field. Thank you very much, no. I am very sure nga kita karong mga taknaa naghinay-hinay na pod og prepare sa mga dokumento sa ato ang mga estudyante. Padulong na ang end of school year, no, so murag mauni ang usa jud sa pinaka-busy nga takna sa ato ang pagpanerbisyo sa DepEd. So I hope nga kanunay magmadasigon tang sa ato ang pagpanerbisyo, and of course ato ang gyud kining buhaton alang og tungod sa ato ang mga estudyante. Yes, ato apong pasalamatan ang ato ang mga program sponsors, no? Yes, nga nahimo pud natong or dako pug kahimuan sa ato ang pagpadayon ni ining atong programa. Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, thank you very much. Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, and GP&H Construction Incorporated. Yes, ato apong gitimbaya no tanan nato mga eskwelahan karon nga nahimo pod nga vaccination center sa ato ang mga nagkadaiyang mga local government units o mga barangay. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan dinha, no, and ato na lang po ning himuon or ato ang i-take ni nga opportunity para i-encourage ang ato ang mga kaigsuunan, ilabi na ang ato ang mga magtutudlo and mga ginikanan nga please magpa-vaccine ta kay maugyod ni ang gawas nga mandato kini or kanang mauni ang ginabuhat karon sa ato ang gobyerno para malabanan nato kining maong COVID-19. Ato apod kining murag safety na pod sa ato ang part, no, tungod kay wa pa man gyud ta kabalo kung kanus ang mahuman gyud ning COVID-19. At least naa na tay proteksyon sa ato ang mga kaugalingon og dili ta angay mahadlo kay usa pod ta turukan, no, sa maong vaccine. I-check pod sa mga doctors or medical practitioner ang ato ang kahimtang, ilabi na kadtong mga adunay mga comorbidities. Sila pod ang mo-assess na usa ta turukan, so dili pod magpataka sila turok, no, at assess pod ang ato ang mga health usa ta dapatan sa maong vaccine. So please encourage gud nato no ang ato ang mga estudyante, and we are very glad here in the Division of Davao de Oro nga ang ato ang mga division leaders gyud ang nanguna sa pagpabakuna. Naata murag nahuman na yata sa first dose, or I don't know if na-complete na ang dosage ni Ma'am Fem og ni Sir Romel. So kitang tanan pwede kaayo tang mo take part pod, and we are encouraging everybody to do your part in the vaccination program of our government. Usab ato apong gitimbaya tanan natong mga kaigsuunan, mga teachers all the way from Moncayo National High School. Maayong pagpaminaw sa usapod sa ato mga inahan dinhi sa RBI, the chairperson of our social media and packaging team nga principal karon dinha sa Moncayo National High School. Hello to Ma'am Christian Anhara Martesio and sa tanan niyang mga teachers din ha, no? Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan and ato apong pasalamatan of course kining ato ang mga kaubanan dinhi sa pagpanerbisyo sa atong radio-based instruction. Kauban ako dinhi karon sa booth, Sir Ralph Tabanyag all the way from Maparat National High School. Sa tanang mga teachers sa Maparat, ako ang mga kahigalaan din ha. Maayong pagpaminaw. Of course, kauban nato today dinhi sa ato ang istasyon si Sir Richard Arellano from Nabuntora National Comprehensive High School and Ma'am Jade Karen Arais all the way from Manat National High School. Sa ato ang mga magtutudlo sa mga nagkadaiyang eskwelahan, daghan kayong salamat sa inyuhang pag-uban sa ato ang programa, no? And please continue tuning in up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Musunod na dayon si Teacher Donna o Teacher JL para ipadayon kining ato ang programa. So, murag, it's time for me to say bye-bye for now, mga kaigsuunan, but only temporarily, of course, because I will be with you again tomorrow, same time, same station, only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw. My name is Teacher Give, and God bless everyone, ug sa kanunay, dalaygo ng Diyos.
Pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Natagatibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pagbigkisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada eskwela, kilos na magbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada eskwela, kilos na magbayanihan na. Brigada eskwela, kilos na magbayanihan na. Brigada eskwela na, sabay-sabay. Sugdata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtot, may papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, relax sa Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na pasilya, Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tune in sa radio. All day, all night, dito yun lang sa Z-Radio. Isano ka sa pakapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, di rin lang sa Z-Radio. Kay ang adlang siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlang siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio.
Z-Radio 88.5.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z-Radio,
Unsa man po ng Z-Radio?
88.5.
Ah, kuyawa, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z-Radio man, kamo naminaw sa Ziguradong Lingaw, Ziguradong Kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio.
Kazi, usa ka ba ka teki? Pindot diri, pindot dito. Ang inyong bagong Z-Radio may application na. Mag-download sa Android App Store ug Z-Radio application aron masking asa ka man moadto, Luzon, Visayas ug Mindanao ug masking naka sa Zimbabwe. Makapaminaw ka sa Ziguradong Lingaw, Ziguradong Kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5.
Sa Bulawanon na Pasibya, Z-Radio.
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Ipapipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan na katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon. Balig-eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas. Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, kahirapan kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Muslim, Kristiyano, katutubo, isang hanggarin san patubo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo. Balik-eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangad palagi ng ating paaralan ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat sabay-sabay, pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangan mag-face to face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng inyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Di mo alintana mga batikos at pangungutya, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Ika'y di sumusuko, lumalaban at nangangako, maihatid pa rin ang serbisyong totoo. Para sa kabataan, ginagawa ang lahat, maibigay lang ang edukasyong karapat-dapat. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo, sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Ika'y pinangungunahan ng isang superwoman, walang iba, Madam Leonor Briones lang naman. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, dedikasyon sa trabaho, pagmamahal ng isang ina, nararamdaman ko. Ikaw ang humuhubog sa aming kinabukasan, laging inuuna ang kapakanan ng kabataan. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo, sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo.
sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka, brigada. Lahat ang ika'y gawin, di ka tayo kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paaral ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka, brigada. Lahat ay kayang gawin, di ka tayo kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo. Hoy, tara, magklase na ta. Tara, tara. Sige, sige. Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, ganun ka siya'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Padayon gapon mo naminaw dinhi sa atong Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Mga ka-Z-Eskwela, welcome to the third hour of today's edition of Radyo Z-Eskwela. Ito po, Teacher JL, hantod alas 2 hapon, mga ka-Z. So, inyong nakauban ganina si Sir Given Hinampas with Discipline and Ideas in Social Sciences, that's grade 11, and Philippine Politics and Governance, grade 12. Kay naama ko dire si Teacher Donna, ako makauban. Good noon, Teacher Donna.
Yes, maayong hapon, Teacher JL. Sa tala na itong mga zuking tigpaminaw, din hilang sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here in 88.5 FM, Z-Radio. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong iyaw.
Nakapaniud to na ba, Teacher Donna?
Padulong pa, Teacher JL.
Okay.
Oo, unya na na.
Alright, atong gitimbaya atong mga listeners, Teacher Donna, atong mga viewers karon ang siguro naniud to samtang nagtan-aw sa tuwa. May pagpaniud to sa tanan. Again, nakauban niyo si Teacher Given ganina or Sir Given Hinampas kanina. And for the second half, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, makauban niyo si Teachers JL and Donna hantod alas 2 sa hapon. So Teacher Donna, atong ipahibalo sila ha, unsa ang mga atong mga lessons for the second half.
Yes, mga kaskwela, ngayon sa unang bahagi, makakasama natin si Sir Wilcor Tayone mula sa Moncayo National High School kasama ng kanyang Creative Resource Material Developer na si Teacher Cora Benedicto from Nabunturan National Comprehensive High School. Dahil pag-uusapan natin sa TLA 9 ang Sequence of Operation in Electronic System.
Thank you, Teacher Donna. Karong alauna, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, we are going to have TLE 10. That's preparing and displaying PF, no? Ano ba yung PTITS Force, Teacher Donna? I'm not really familiar with that.
Sige. At mo nang maminaw taon niya, Teacher
Okay,
JL.
right. That's gonna be presented to us by Mark Louis Cartagena of Magnaga National High School and Sir Wilfredo Takasan of Magnaga National High School. Right. So, Teacher Donna, naka-live gihapon ta sa atong tulo ka Facebook pages.
Yes, you can send us your comments, your greetings, questions, and suggestions sa ating Facebook Live sa Z-Radio 88.5, DepEd tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro official Facebook pages.
Right. O syempre, palihog og follow, palihog subscribe sa atong YouTube channel, Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. O sa mga naminaw karon sa ilahang mga cellphones, o sa ilahang mga radyo, 0953-211-3492 atong numero. That's again, 0953-211-3492 atong oras mga Z, 12:09 na sa Uddo. Oras sa tudsado ng DB Construction and Supply ug Kanaway Builders Corporation. Oras sa pod para magsugod sa atong third lesson for the day.
Yes, kaya mga kaskwela, be ready, Z-learners, to discover new learning and skills together with Teacher Wilcor Tayoni and Ma'am Cora Benedicto for TLE9, Sequence of Operation in Electronic Systems. Kaya mga kaskwela and Teacher JL, tara na, magklase na ta!
Students, as well as to my colleagues in the field of education, our dear parents who are listening right now on our station this day, I am Wilcor C. Tayuni with Cora R. Benedicto, your teacher in Technology and Livelihood Education in grade 9. And you're listening to the Radio Z-Eskwela 88.5, Siguradong Masaya. But before anything else, I would like to say hello to everyone. I hope each one of you are in good health and in perfect condition as we learn our lesson together through this radio program. We are hoping that everyone is comfortable in their respective places and excited to learn and to participate in our activities for this session. Have you eaten your lunch? Okay. It will make us stay energetic and active to learn. Are you excited to join with me? That's great! So let's begin! Our lesson for today is about sequence of operation in electronic system. I will repeat. Our lesson for today is about sequence of operation in electronic system. At the end of this session, I am expecting everyone to be able to know the sequence operation, electronic system, common devices found in electronic system, and understanding the power supply block diagram. This time, with your worksheet, I'd like you to open it. Be sure you have your notebook with you, your pen, and answer sheets, because we will have to test your knowledge how far you have learned in our lesson. These tests have 15 questions, so number your paper from 1 to 15. Be sure you are in the right page of your worksheets so that you can follow my instruction and write your answer on your answer sheet. Direction. Answer the following questions. Write the answer in your answer sheet. Limit your answer to a maximum of 2 sentences for every questions. I will repeat. Answer the following questions. Write the answer in your answer sheet. Limit your answer to a maximum of 2 sentences for every question. Question number 1. What is a sequence operation? I will repeat. What is a sequence operation? Question number 2. What is an electronic system? I will repeat. What is an electronic system? Question number 3. What are the examples of electronic system? List down at least 3 devices. Question number 3. What are examples of electronic system? List down at least 3 devices. Question number 4. What is a common device that can be found in every electronic system device? Question number 4. What is a common device that can be found in every electronic system device? Question number 5. What is a power supply block diagram? I will repeat. What is a power supply block diagram? Okay, your score will be based on the rubric. Now, you can get a maximum of 20 points if the following traits such as focus and details, organization, voice, word of choice, sentence structure, grammar, mechanics, and spelling have a score of 4 points. Now you can have 15 points if all the traits score 3 points. And you can have 10 points if all traits have a score of 2 points. And lastly, you can have 5 points if all the traits score 1 point each. Okay, so let's proceed. Direction. Match column A with column B. Write the letters only. I will repeat. Direction. Match column A with column B. Write the letters only. Column A. Number 1. Regulator. Number 2. Filter. Number 2. Filter. Number 3. Rectifier. Number 3. Rectifier. Number 4. AC to DC converter. Number 5. Power supply. Number 5. Power supply. Column B. A. The backbone of any electronic system. A. The backbone of any electronic system. B. It receives on the primary winding an AC voltage and delivers on the secondary winding two different AC voltage. B. It receives on the primary winding an AC voltage and delivers on the secondary winding a different AC voltage. Letter C. It smoothens the previous wave, eliminating the alternating current. Letter C. It smoothens the previous wave, eliminating the alternating current. Letter D. From AC voltage into a pulsating DC voltage. Letter D. From AC voltage into a pulsating DC voltage. Letter E. It receives the signal from the filter and delivers a constant voltage. Letter E. It receives the signal from the filter and delivers a constant voltage. Okay, so let's proceed. Direction. Write true if the statement is correct and false otherwise. Number 1. Sequence operation is essential to make things work right. Number 1. Sequence operation is essential to make things work right. Number 2. Regulator can be bypassed or removed in the system sequence. Number 2. Regulator can be bypassed or removed in the system sequence. Number 3. The appropriate sequence for the system is from output going to input. Number 3. The appropriate sequence for the system is from output going to input. Number 4. There is no direct relation of input to output in a sequence system. Number 4. There is no direct relation of input to output in a sequence system. Number 5. Systematic operation can be ignored when it comes to electricity. Number 5. Systematic operation can be ignored when it comes to electricity. Oops, time is up. So, let's see if your answers are right. I instruct you to put check on your answer sheet if your answer is correct. Please be reminded that being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it always gets you the right ones. Okay? Approve? We should be honest this time because your knowledge will be tested. Okay, so let's continue our checking. See at the back page of your worksheets and correct your answer honestly. How many of you got perfect? 10 points up. How many of you got perfect? 10 points up. I am congratulating you for the job well done. Let's continue with our next task. But before we continue, let us stretch our body to make you more comfortable and relaxing this time.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, GB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we're back on our School on the Air in Technology and Livelihood Education. Let us recall what you have learned in the previous module. To assess your learning, kindly answer the following questions and write your answers on the activity sheets. Refer to the scoring rubrics to assess your answer. Direction. Write true if the statement is correct and false otherwise. I will repeat. Write true if the statement is correct and false otherwise. Number 1. Soldering safety guides are essential. Number 1. Soldering safety guides are essential. Number 2. Wear PPE when working with cable installation. Number 2. Wear PPE when working with cable installation. Number 3. Clean your area whenever completing any work. Number 3. Clean your area whenever completing any work. Number 4. Never touch the heating element of soldering iron. Number 4. Never touch the heating element of soldering iron. Number 5. We are not obliged to follow safety rules while working. Number 5. We are not obliged to follow safety rules while working. Multiple choice. Write the letter of the options that will best correspond to the following statement or phrase. I will repeat. Write the letter of the option that will best correspond to the following statement or phrase. Number 1. Why do we need to follow safety rules? Number 1. Why do we need to follow safety rules? A. To protect ourselves. B. To avoid destruction. C. To have higher grades. D. To lessen work hours. Number 2. How will you follow the safety guidelines? Number 2. How will you follow the safety guidelines? A. Staying alive. B. Follow with precaution. C. By reading and ignoring. D. Leaving it as is. Number 3. What effect if we inhale fumes from solder? Number 3. What effect if we inhale fumes from solder? A. Sneezing. B. Serious chronic health. C. COVID-19. D. Fatigue. Number 4. What should we wear for safety if working with crimping tools? Number 4. What should we wear for safety if working with crimping tools? A. Gloves and boots. B. Safety glasses and gloves. C. Shield. D. Face mask. Number 5. Why do we need to clean the area after working? Number 5. Why do we need to clean the area after working? A. The teacher said so. B. For personal reason. C. To maximize the time. D. For safety for everyone. I instruct you to put check on your answer sheet if your answer is correct. Please be reminded that being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it always gets you the right ones. Okay? Approve? We should be honest this time because your knowledge will be tested. Okay? Let's continue our checking. See at the back page of your module and correct your answer honestly. How many of you got perfect? Very good. And how many of you got 7 points up? That's good. I am congratulating you for the job well done. So let's continue with our next task. But before we continue, let's stretch our body to make us more comfortable and relaxing this time. This time, our focus for today is all about Sequence of operation, electronic system. Sequence operation is an appropriate order in which a number of jobs can be assigned to a finite number of service facilities such as machines or equipment so as to optimize the outputs. Electronic system. An electronic system is a physical interconnection of components or parts that gathers various amount of information together. Showing you the electronic system, we have the multiple inputs, we have A, B, C, and we have a system process and an output which is X and Y. Electronic system is referred as control system. A system that is used to control or regulate the amount of the other system is called control system. This is also a group or collection of different systems and blocks. The electronic system may have multiple inputs and multiple outputs. The system accepts the inputs and it processes the required tasks to produce the outputs. The state of the system can be changed by processing the inputs. So, the inputs are the cause of the change in system's equilibrium state. This means the inputs and outputs of a system are in direct relationship that inputs will show effect on outputs. This analysis of control system is called cause and effect analysis. An audio system, TV, or any MP3 player is the example of electronic system. The sound waves are converted to electrical signal and they are amplified to process the output of high-strength audio signals through speakers. Power supply. Power is the backbone of any electronic system, and the power supply is what feeds the system. Choosing the right supply can be critical difference between a device working at optimum levels and one that may deliver inconsistent results. Block diagram of regulated power supply. The block diagram of a regulated power supply mainly includes a step-down transformer, a rectifier, a DC filter, and a regulator. How does it work? The electrical transformer receives on the primary winding on AC voltage and delivers on the secondary winding of a different AC voltage. This AC output voltage must be according to the DC voltage we want to obtain at the end. For example, if we want a 12 volts output, the secondary winding of the transformer must have an AC voltage no less than 9 volts. The rectifier bridge transforms the secondary winding AC voltage into a pulsating DC voltage. Filter are one or more electrolytic capacitors in parallel that flattens or smooth the previous wave, eliminating the alternating current component delivered by the rectifier. These capacitors are charged to the maximum voltage value that the rectifier can deliver, and they are discharged when the pulsating signals disappears. The voltage regulator receives the signal from the filter and delivers a constant voltage. Let's say 12 volts DC volts, regardless of the variation of the load or the voltage supply. Voltage regulator can be implemented in the several ways. It can be transistorized voltage regulator or a monolithic voltage regulator. The applications of regulated power supply or RPS is an embedded circuit used to convert unregulated alternating current into a stable direct current by using a rectifier. The main function of this is to supply a constant voltage to a circuit that should be function in a particular power supply limit. So we have the mobile phone chargers, regulated power supplies in different appliances, various oscillators and amplifiers. Now let's go to the development stage. So you will have to do the learning task number 1. Direction. Answer the following questions. Write the answer on your answer sheet. Limit your answers to a maximum of 2 sentences for every questions. I will have to repeat the question twice. Okay? Are you ready? Okay. So let's begin. Question number 1. What is a sequence operation? Question number 1. What is a sequence operation? Question number 2. What is an electronic system? Number 2. What is an electronic system? Question number 3. What are examples of electronic system? List down at least 3 devices. Number 3. What are examples of electronic systems? List down at least 3 devices. Question number 4. What is a common device that can be found in every electronic system device? Number 4. What is a common device that can be found in every electronic system device? Number 5. What is a power supply block diagram? Number 5. What is a power supply block diagram? Learning task number 2. Direction. Explain the purpose of regulator device in a power supply unit and list down the samples applications of regulated power supply. Learning task number 2. Direction. Explain the purpose of regulator device in a power supply unit and list down the sample applications of regulated power supply. Learning task number 3. Direction. Arrange the blocks accordingly from input to output unit. Redraw it in a complete sequence of operation. Draw it in your answer sheets. I will repeat. Learning task 3. Direction. Arrange the blocks according from input to output unit. Redraw it in a complete sequence of operation. Draw it in your answer sheets. Now in your worksheets, let's go to engagement. Learning task 4. Direction. Match column A with column B. Write the letters only. I will repeat. Learning tasks 4. Direction. Match column A with column B. Write the letters only. Column A. Number 1. Regulator. Number 2. Filter. Number 2. Filter. Number 3. Rectifier. Number 3. Rectifier. Number 4. AC to DC converter. Number 5. Power supply. Number 5. Power supply. Column B. A. The backbone of any electronic system. A. The backbone of any electronic system. Letter B. It receives on the primary winding an AC voltage and delivers on the secondary winding a different AC voltage. Letter B. It receives on the primary winding an AC voltage and delivers on the secondary winding a different AC voltage. Letter C. It smoothens the previous wave, eliminating the alternating current. Letter C. It smoothens the previous wave, eliminating the alternating current. Letter D. From AC voltage into pulsating DC voltage. Letter D. From AC voltage into a pulsating DC voltage. Letter E. It receives the signal from the filter and delivers a constant voltage. Letter E. It receives the signal from the filter and delivers to a constant voltage. Now let's go to assimilation. Learning task number 5. Direction. Explain the presented situation below. Let us say this is your phone connected to a charger and then to an outlet. Without a charger, can we connect your phone directly from Meralco power source? I will repeat. Without a charger, can we connect your phone directly from Meralco power source? Okay. Now, your work or your task will be rated or will be scored based on a scoring rubrics. Now, this time, you will be rated based on a scoring rubrics. Now, your scoring rubric based on the criteria. We have the ideas, understanding, and equality of writing. Now, you can have a maximum of points if the following criteria meet the points. Okay, so let's proceed. So, learning task number 6. Direction. Write true if the statement is correct and false otherwise. Learning task number 6. Direction: write true if the statement is correct and false otherwise. Number 1. Sequence operation is essential to make things work right. Number 1. Sequence operation is essential to make things work right. Number 2. Regulator can be bypassed or removed in the system sequence. Number 2. Regulator can be bypassed or removed in the system sequence. Number 3. The appropriate sequence for the system is from output going to input. Number 3. The appropriate sequence for the system is from output going to input. Number 4. There is no direct relation of input to output in a sequence system. Number 4. There is no direct relation of input to output in a sequence system. Number 5. Systematic operation can be ignored when it comes to electricity. Number 5. Systematic operation can be ignored when it comes to electricity. Okay. Let's continue with our next task. But before we continue, let us stretch our body to make you more comfortable and relaxing this time.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NAN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we're back on our School on the Air in Technology and Livelihood Education. So let's go to assessment. Multiple choice. Write the letter of the option that will best correspond to the following statement or phrase. I will repeat. Multiple choice. Write the letter of the option that will best correspond to the following statement or phrase. Number 1. It is a particular order in which related events, movements, or things follow each other. Number 1. It is a particular order in which related events, movements, or things follow each other. A. Power supply. B. Sequence. C. Energy. D. Operation. Question number 2. A condition of functioning or being active. Number 2. A condition of functioning or being active. A. Capacitor. B. Operation. C. Filter. D. Smoothing. Number 3. Which device releases a stable output? Number 3. Which device releases a stable output? A. filter, B. regulator, C. block diagram, D. system. Number 4. What is a unit? Where can be found in any electronic system? Number 4. What is a unit? Where can be found in any electronic system? A. block diagram, B. power supply, C. filter, D. capacitor. Number 5. Why we need to follow the sequence of operation? Number 5. Why we need to follow the sequence of operation? A. To avoid damage, inflection to the system. B. To follow the rules and avoid questions. C. To make it better. D. For convenience. Now let's go to reflection. The learner in their notebook will write their personal insights about the lessons using the prompts below. Now let's go to reflections. Now you are now required in your notebook and write down your personal insights about the lessons using the prompts below. I understand that blank. I realized that blank, and I need to learn more about blank. I hope with our lesson today, the sequence operation in electronic system will surely help you a lot in understanding the sequence operation in electronic system in the near future. Another exciting lessons in the world of computer system and operations that we have learned today. Always tune in to our School on the Air program for our next stimulating lesson. Until then, this is Welcor Sitayuni and Cora R. Benedicto. Always remember, it's not how much we teach, but how much we put love into teaching. Thank you.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. U, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Sige, sige, let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, ganun nga siya'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Padahan gapon mong naminaw din sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Kinis Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna, ang inyong teacher na biba.
Oras na to mga Z-Eskwela. Teacher Donna, unsay oras na to?
Yes, oras na to, 12:56 na sa hapon. Oras atod ka na to sa Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated and Phoenix Carvada Tagum Gasoline Station.
Alright, salamat Teacher Donna sa pag-check sa time. Og oras na pod para atong pasalamatan ang atong content presenter, si Sir Wilcor Tayone, and iyahang Creative Resource Material Developer, si Ma'am Cora Benedicto na Bunturan National Comprehensive High School. It's TLE 9, Sequence of Operation in Electronic System, right?
Yes.
Teacher Donna, finally, we found out kung unsaon din
pronounce. Okay.
Go ahead,
Ito,
Teacher Donna.
Teacher JL.
That's PT4.
PT4.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, what's going to be next, Teacher Donna?
Yes, no, ngayon, for our last hour, makakasama natin sina Teacher Louie Cartagena from Magnaga National High School, along with Sir Wilfredo Takasan, still from Magnaga National High School, para sa PLE 10, preparing and displaying PT4.
Right, but for now, we are going to take a break, mga ka-Z-Eskwela. When we return, we're gonna have Mark Louie Cartagena and Sir Wilfredo Takasan. Dili lang sa 88.5 FM Z-Radio, siguradong lingaw,
siguradong kuyaw.
Kinis Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna.
Balik ni.
Sugata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, di papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na pasilya, Z-Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawanon na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawanon na pagsibya, Z-Radio. Don't stop. Sa Z-Radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tuning sa radio. All day, all night, dito yun lang sa Z-Radio. Isa nuga sa pakapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, dito lang sa Z-Radio.
mga issue ug katikaran sa barangay. Idol ko sika. Mga kasulbaran sa mga problemang pambarangay. Idol ko sika. Paminaw kada Biyernes alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Diri lang sa Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Idol ko sika. Mga legal nga hisgutanan, Panyero de Oro, tagaan ug pagtagad sa programang Panyero de Oro. Paminaw kada Miyerkules alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Panyero de Oro, dili lamang sa Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
You got it.
Panyero de Oro.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang dikiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Yan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang kasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ang ikayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at ngiti, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo. Laging handa. Laging handa. Baha, tagtuyot, sunog, lindol, bagyo, mga kalamidad na likas sa ating mundo. Napapahamak ang buhay at kabuhayan, kaya naman kailangan ng paghandaan.
Maging handa, maging alerto, tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Laging handa.
Kalamidad ay maaasahang darating.
Sa di inaasahang oras,
Kaya naman hindi na dapat hintayin. Unahan na habang di pa natataranta.
maging handa, maging alerto, tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Suriin mo mabuti ang iyong kapaligiran? Saan ka ba nakatira? Diyan ba ay bumabaha? Tuwing gamot pagkain, kumot pang sindi, first aid kit, mga gamit panligtas ng buhay dapat mabitbit. At sakaling lumindol o sumabog ang bungka, meron bang matagdaanan palayo sa kasawian? Panahon na ay malupit at ang hangin hagupit, mabuti na lang na tayo ay laging nakahanda.
Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat lang maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat lang maging laging handa.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Education with the support of World Vision Development Foundation.
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Ipapipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan ng katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano at katutubo, isang hanggarin saan patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangad palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay, pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Di mo alintana mga batikos at pangungutya, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Ika'y di sumusuko, lumalaban at nangangako, maihatid pa rin ang serbisyong totoo. Para sa kabataan, ginagawa ang lahat, maibigay lang ang edukasyong karapat-dapat. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Ika'y pinangungunahan ng isang superwoman, walang iba, Madam Leonor Briones lang naman. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, dedikasyon sa trabaho, pagmamahal ng isang ina, nararamdaman ko. Ikaw ang humuhubog sa aming kinabukasan, laging inuuna ang kapakanan ng kabataan. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo.
Magbayanihan na, magbayanihan na, bayanihan, pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian, nagtagatibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pagbigisin, lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos ng pagbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong adlas sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada,
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Tingog Party List, Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Niche Construction and Supply, Mabanglo Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Bertodazo, Apex Mining Company Incorporated, and Icon Builders and Supply.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Good morning, students, as well as to my colleagues in the field of education. Are there parents who are listening right now on
Objectives. Prepare ISPT4. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to first explain the different types of PT4. Second, demonstrate how to prepare PT4. And third, display creativity and designing PT4.
Good morning to our beloved grade 10 students. This is Z-Radio 88.5 Z-Eskwela, Davao de Oro. We are happy to join you in learning technology and livelihood education through radio broadcast. First, I need you to make yourselves comfortable and get ready to listen carefully to our broadcast. Alright, get your module and find a comfortable position. Before we begin with our new lesson, I want to ask you this question. How did the desserts start? You're right. Most knowledge of food dessert has came from the studies of the United Kingdom and United States. In fact, the term food dessert was introduced in early 1990s in Western Scotland. I hope you can still recall from our previous lesson. Now we are ready for another lesson. Are you excited? If you don't have pen and paper, get now, because in a few minutes, Teacher Mark Louis Cartagena will deliver to us the new lesson. As I've mentioned earlier, our lesson today is all about how to prepare a daily PT4. Get ready with your module for this lesson so you can follow our radio teacher. If you're ready, Teacher Mark is here from Magnagan National High School. Good day, grade 10 students. How are you guys? I am Teacher Mark. Are you ready for a new fun, terrific learning? Very good! Now, we will talk about how to prepare and display PT4s. Again, what we are going to discuss today? Very good! Students, get your notebook and ballpen and let's get started. What is PT4? PT4 refers to small biscuits and cakes tastefully decorated. Sweet meats and cakes are designed to serve as dessert, while after dinner coffee and cocktails. The name is said that originated from practice in cooking small pastries, a PT4, or in a low temperature oven. Do you know what some of typically characteristic of PT4s are? Yes, you're right. First, it approximately 1 inch square and about 1.5 to 2 inch high. Second, it consists of layer of cakes and buttercream frosting. Third, PT4s can be to any number of small confection or pastries. PT4 can be eaten in 1 or 2 bites, and these fancy pastries are further divided into a sec or glaze. And the fifth characteristic is the PT4 sec and glaze can be sponge or cake base, biscuits or cookies base, meringue base, marzipan, fresh fruit, or chocolate base. Now, let us know some of the culinary terms used in preparing PT4s. Get your module and turn it to page 3 to 4. We have different culinary terminology written in your modules. The first term is angel food cake. What is it? Yes, it is a type of cake made of meringue and flour. Second is butter. Do you know what is butter? It is a semi-liquid mixture of one or more flour combined with liquid such as water, milk, or eggs used to prepare various foods. Third is caramelized PT4. What is it? Caramelized PT4 is also known as PT4 sec, which is usually unfilled cookies. Fourth term is chalk pastry. Do you know what is chalk pastry? Yes, it is a light pastry dough for making cream puff and eclairs. Fifth term is confectioner sugar. Are you familiar with the confectioner sugar is? You're right. Sucrose ground into a fine powder and mixed with a little cornstarch to prevent caking. We have 31 terminologies in your modules, so you can internalize and familiarize all the terms for you to comprehend and terminologies in culinary. Now, let us use your module to further understanding the lesson and continue with our discussion about feelings and flavor for Ice PT4. We have three various feelings and flavors. What are the feeling and flavor of Ice PT4? Very good! We have jam, ganache, and buttercreams. What is jams? Very good! Jam are a high moisture used to enhance flavor, add moisture, and bind with the product. Blend jam until a smooth consistency is attained, making sure no lumps are present as they will tear the sponge cake. How about the ganache? Do you know what is ganache? Are you definitely right? Ganache is a mixture of chocolate and cream. Ganache carry alcohol flavors well to add interest to PT4s. When the ganache is agitated, it must be worked quickly as it will set. Next is buttercreams. What is buttercreams? Very good! Buttercreams need to be chilled before cutting. These are flexible for decorating the tops of PT4 as they can be flavored and easily piped. However, they can be easily damaged at room temperature. Now, let us determine the 4 kinds of PT4 bases. Do you know what are the 4 kinds of PT4 bases? You are right. First is cake. Cake can be baked in shallow tray, then topped with soft topping, then cut to shape desired similar to sponge sheets. Second is a shortbread. What is shortbread? Yes, shortbread is a mixture of flour, fat, and sugar enriched with egg and has a short eating quality. What do you think is the other suitable base for PT4? Very good! It is a pastry puff pastry. Pastry puff pastry can make a suitable base for PT4s when a sweet fillings is used. The fourth one, we have sponge. What is sponge? Very well. Sponge baked in thin sheets and layered together with fillings which acts as adhesive to hold the sheets of sponge together. Are you excited to know the ingredients and procedure in making the PT4? Okay, let's start. Be attentive and list down the important ingredients for our recipe. The following are the recipes you can enjoy in making the pretty PT4 ice. These are the ingredients: 1/4 cup butter softened, 1 cup shortening, 1 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 1 1/3 cup all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoon baking powder, 1/2 tablespoon salt, 3/3 cup milk, 3 egg whites. For the glaze ingredients: 2 pounds confectioner sugar,
2/3 cup plus 2 tablespoon water, 2 tablespoon orange extract. Next are the ingredients for frosting. Take note of this. 6 tablespoon butter softened, 2 tablespoon shortening, 1/2 tablespoon vanilla extract, 3 cups confectioner sugar, 3 to 4 tablespoon milk, and gel, liquid, or paste food coloring. For the procedure in making the iced PT4 recipe, please refer to your module on page 7. Do you love arts and creativity? Great! Now, let's try your creativity on assembling and cutting iced PT4 base. For this recipe, I encourage you to use ready-made sponge cake. What are the things needed? Very good! The sponge sheets 56mm thick or 3 cm total height when assembled. Then the jam, strawberry, mango, and etc. smooth texture, and the 2 sheets of wax paper. Those are the things that are needed for our recipe. Okay, let us start making our recipe. Are you ready? Great! First, lay the first sponge cake on wax. Second, spread a thin layer of jam over the cake. Third, place a second sheet cake on top of the first layer. Then press firmly and remove the crumbs. Fourth, spread the second layer of jam thinly over the cake. Fifth, take the third sheet of cake, turn it over to put the bottom part on top. 6. Press the sheets of sponge firmly together. And the 7th procedure is place the tray on top to allow the layer cake and jam to bond. Cut bases to the desired shape. Remember the following in making iced PT4. Number 1. Any form and shape can be applied, but the accuracy of cutting is vital. It should minimize waste. Second, shape can be round, diagonal, square, or triangle. Third, almost 20% of the product is waste if round and diagonal shape is used. Please be reminded that it is important to design, decorate, and display PT4 to first, make them more attractive and appetizing. Second, enhance presentation. And third, visual and textural diversity. If you want to know how to prepare icing in this recipe, please refer it to the self-learning module on page 9.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Now, we are already familiar with the different 4 types of PT4, the ingredients used for the recipe, and how to prepare the iced PT4. Did you remember the different types of PT4 and the ingredients used? Very good! I hope everyone internalized and familiarized your lesson. Always remember, for us to be a good or an expert cook or a chef, we need to know the basic terms in cooking a particular recipe. I repeat, if you wanted to be an expert chef or cook, you need to master the basic terms in cooking the recipe that you desire. I hope you understood the lesson about how to prepare and display PT4. Until our next lesson, I'm your teacher on the radio, Mark Louis D. Cartagena from Magnagan National High School for our School on Air in Grade 10 TLE, Bread and Pastry. If you miss something, our host will help you with a recap. I am positive or confident that you will do well with our activities and quiz later, right? Thank you, and God bless. You've just heard Teacher Mark Louis D. Cartagena, a TLE teacher from Magnagan National High School. Did you learn a lot about how to prepare and display PT4? It was a fantastic and interesting lesson, right? Let's recap later after a short reminder. We're back! This is Z-Radio 88.5 Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw! Earlier, Teacher Mark discussed with you with a lesson about how to prepare and display PT4. Did you take down notes? Go back to your notes. What are the most important things that you've learned about the lesson? See? Learning is fun and easy. Now you know the different kinds of PT4. You can already start learning easy way on how to make PT4. You have also learned how to operate or light an oven and some useful 38 tips about utensils and equipments. Always remember, learning is more fun when shared. Now that our lesson is over, it's time to check and measure what you've learned. Can you help me answering the exercise? Please get your pen and let's answer. Let us assess on page 12 to 13. Great effort, learners! Let us evaluate your level of mastery in achieving the learning competency in this lesson. Multiple choice. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write the chosen letter on a separate sheet of paper. Read the sentence carefully. I will give you another 2 minutes to answer. Are you ready? Your timer starts now. When the bell rings, stop answering and we will check if your answer is right. Don't forget to answer this in your notebook. Are you ready? Time's up! Let's find out if you have answered correctly. Let me repeat the directions. Choose the letter that corresponds to the best answer. Item number 1.
Which of the following are small bite-sized cakes with a thin coating of glaze, typically fondant, which is applied at the end of the production process? A. Marzipan petit four. B. Fresh petit four. C. Ice petit four. D. Petit four. What is your answer? The correct answer is letter B. Number 2. It refers to miniature bite-sized confection coated with icing. A. Marzipan petit four. B. Fresh petit four. C. Ice petit four. Or D. Petit four. The answer is yes, you're right. D. Item number 3. Which petit four fillings enhance flavor, adds moisture, and binds the product? A. Butter. B. Jams. C. Ganache. D. Meringue. The answer is letter B. Item number 4. Which mixture of chocolate and ice cream is used as fillings for ice petit four? A. Butter. B. Jams. C. Ganache. D. Meringue. Reveal your answer. Your answer is correct. It's letter C. Item number 5. Which light cake is made of meringue and flour? A. Angel food cake. B. Chiffon cake. C. Butter cake. D. Sponge cake. What is your answer? Correct. It's letter D. Item number 6. Which is a rich cream made of chocolate and heavy cream? A. Buttercream. B. Ganache. C. Custard. D. Syrup. Very good. Letter B. Item number 7. It is a mixture of flour, fat, and sugar enriched with egg and has a short eating quality. A. Shortbread. B. Pastry. C. Sponge. D. Cake. The correct answer is letter A. Item number 8. It is baked in thin sheets and layered together with fillings which acts as adhesive to hold the sheets of sponge together. A. Shortbread. B. Pastry. C. Sponge. D. Cake. Reveal your answer. It is letter C. Item number 9. Why it is important to design, decorate, and display petit four? A. To enhance presentation. B. To visual and textual diversity. C. To make them more attractive and appetizing. D. All of the above. What do you think is the correct answer? Great! It is D. Item number 10. Which refers to dry heat cooking that is often done with an oven? A. Baking. B. Grilling. C. Broiling. D. Stewing. The answer is letter exactly A.
Did you get correct answers? Congratulations, students! You did a great job today. We have just finished another lesson. For you to understand more and master the lesson about how to prepare and display PT4, please read the culinary terms and procedure in making the recipe in your self-learning module. You also need to answer the remaining activity on page 11 to 14. This activity will help you develop more your skills and strengthen your knowledge of the lesson. Remember that together, it is always more fun and exciting to learn and explore new knowledge. This has been Teacher Mark, your teacher host for Z Radio 88.5, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Stay tuned in for our next lessons about present dessert this July 2021 at 1 to 2 p.m. Until next time, again, I'm Teacher Mark Louis D. Cartagena saying, let us discover and explore new knowledge to ensure a better future. Good day and mabuhay Pilipinas. Always remember, keep safe everyone. Good day and mabuhay Pilipinas.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
With a smile, tune in as a radio, been alive. Bisa na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtot, may papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisa na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasilya, Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. sa Z-Radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tune in sa radio. All day, all night, dito yun lang sa Z-Radio. Minsan o sa pakapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, dito lang sa Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z-Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z-Radio.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang diin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Ganyan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang nagkasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paaral ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
Kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampiling natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Tingog Party List, Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply,
Mabanglo Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply,
DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, V-Inc Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Bertodazo,
Apex Mining Company Incorporated,
and Icon Builders and Supply.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya, halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Muli po nagbabalik ang Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya. Ito po si Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna.
We thank Sir Mark Louis Cartagena and Sir Wilfredo Takasan for TLE 10 that's preparing and displaying PT4. Teacher Donna, we are finished with all our lessons today. That's why we're saying goodbye for now. Kailan tayo babalik, Teacher Donna?
Yes, magkikita-kita tayo bukas mga kaskwela simula alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali at pagkatapos niyan, susunod naman yan ang tambalang Teacher Nanay and Teacher Given.
Right, so babalik kami bukas. So hanggang sa muli mga kaskwela, maraming salamat po sa pakisama, panonood ngayong araw na ito at pakikinig. Ito po si Teacher Jail again.
And I am Teacher Donna.
Saying goodbye for now. Daghang salamat og dalaygon ang Diyos.
Sugata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, di papuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa